So let me talk to you guys about Will Smith and people's negative reaction towards his character on Disney of like being the genie in Aladdin. And I also want to discuss racism. Could it be racism or ignorance? But it can be racism, depends on how someone reacts. Um, I'm speaking from how I feel. And how I feel as a thespian, I feel like, first of all, I feel that as a black person, a thespian, I don't want to be any stereotype. And I don't want to play, I'm tired of, being held the standard of playing characters of low frequencies and always trying to make a character extra real, and it always has to be it always has to be from good times and struggle. And Will Smith has played some characters. It was Will Smith always been the type to just break stereotypes, but he has also played some less frequency roles like Pursuit of Happiness. I mean, it was a good thing, but it's so typical. I don't want to be put in a box. Pursuit of Happiness was so typical because, of course, it was the same old story about the black man to have enough opportunities, and then he gets held by some white person. Doesn't even matter white. It just means just him being poor and then getting up, and he had a bad life and it was so awful. And I mean, why couldn't play some crazy characters? Like, I would love to play some crazy characters, like the genie, or maybe a unicorn, or like something like that is of creativity and just something to escape. And I just feel like it's racist because you know how people just put you in a box, and I feel like it's very spiritually binding and just depressing. And I'm a thespian at heart, and it's just so awful because you're mad at him because he's not realistic, because he's not showing much that he's a black person, that he's like, you want him to be real, like, you know it's not common. I feel like for white people, they're not used to black people, and black people period, playing characters that are really crazy. Like, what's his name? Oh, I forgot his name. The guy who played Jack Sparrow, I know his name. Oh, and Edward Scissorhands, like, he plays all these crazy characters. I don't think anyone judges him for it, and it's just like, I mean, it hurts. It really does. And I'm not crying about it because honestly, I'm still gonna live my life and I'm still gonna audition for all those crazy roles. But I'm gonna just tell you how I feel because it's powerful. Your words are powerful, and it helps people because I know a lot of people feel the same thing I feel, and whether they want to acknowledge the feeling, maybe they may not be able to acknowledge the feeling, but it does affect them. It affects black communities, it affects black people, and their conscious of always seeing them being the ghetto person, or the clown side chick. I mean, a sidekick, not side chick, sidekick, like what's his name? Oh my god, my memory is so bad. Um, where a lot of these black comedians, they're like these, They go to karate and action movies, and there are these silly clown sidekicks, of these people. And I mean, it's not really empowering. It's just silly. I mean, it's fun, if you want to have fun, after, but then after a while, it gets really annoying as a black person. I don't think people can really understand that. And a lot of people can't understand that either because some of them are not really as ambitious, or, you know, and if you're already at the frequency, it's kind of hard to really care about that stuff. But I think that the genie thing is not even bad. First of all, I'm going to tell you why. The genie character that Will Smith is playing is not bad because he looks better than the genie at the that was in the cartoon. So he should have gotten applause for it. I feel like if he was some other race, he wouldn't have gotten that scrutiny. First of all, he looks better. He has a better body, better face. I like, Will Smith's charisma. And for once, it wasn't about him being black. It wasn't all about his skin color, and people got uncomfortable, and now they're crying, why? Why? This is so horrible. You know, it's upsetting, but it's just, but you know what? It's a thing that there's change. Change is coming, and acting is not going to be all about race. It's he's a genie. It doesn't have to be about race. A Latino can play it. Anyone can play it. It's just a genie. The genie has no race. Just let people integrate. That's what Martin Luther King was about. And I'm sure 90% of people like Martin Luther King, but would hate stuff like this. But you know what? This is part of life and part of God's plan and Martin Luther King's plan of just letting people get parts and letting people succeed in life because they worked hard for it, not because you're trying to get as many black people in your company as much, or trying to get as much white people in your company, or trying to get as much. I just can't wait for the time where we can just all just be individuals, and we can all just, it can just be a whole bunch of rainbow colors in the office, because everyone would have their own skin color: yellow, red, peanut butter color, brown, you know. It'd be a whole bunch of rainbows, just all them colors in them offices, acting, everything. I mean, it's taking effect, because there are some. I remember there was this woman, and I'm just so thankful. There was this woman, and she was she was acting, and she had the part, and she was the kid of, I can't say, I want to say her name, I don't want to put her on the spot, but she was a kid of Dr. Seuss. And the girl is usually white, but it didn't matter. It was Whoville. It's not Game of Thrones where you actually have to add the racial factor towards it, but it's Dr. Seuss. And I was just so thankful that the time has came where it just doesn't have to matter. And yeah, I think it's okay if white people, maybe black people can do like Thor and all these European movies. Maybe one day white people can play all those black characters. I can't wait till race doesn't matter. To race just doesn't matter at all. Race is not about pride. Race is about love. It's about self love. It's about loving yourself. It's about connecting with other people despite the difference of your looks. It's about accepting each other. That's what we came here for. That's why they made people different, is so that we can get used to each other. And it's just the challenge of love. We just here to love each other and succeed and just let be. So that's just what I wanted to say, is just that, maybe it's racist to the fact when you're like, when, I don't know, I feel like it's racist to the fact, like, especially with auditioning, is the nose too big, you're too dark, auditioning, with auditioning, it's racism. It's racism. I heard they critique you over your color so much, and is when even when it's not about race, your lips too big, you know, all kinds of things. I'm just like, and I don't know if there should be some kind of, I don't know what you call a revolt or something, some kind of action, some kind of, job action, because marginalization, oh my God. I have thick skin when it comes to auditions, but I would be upset because, you know, obstacles, and I'm just like, not even that. It's like, I mean, just the thought that, that something matters so much that it's okay for them to say something like that, or for them to choose people like that over something like that. Something over like something small like your skin color. When you can be the best, when you're like one of the best actors, and you're like, oh, the skin color is too dark, and it's just sad. But you know what? Things are changing, and I'm so glad. I can't say, I personally say, I don't think people intent was to be mean. So I would say that it's ignorance. It was just ignorance. It's just ignorance. Calling people racist and everything is like it's like really mean, and black people always do that just to like, I guess they want to control people and they want to make people feel bad. But ignorance is the thing. Ignorance. I mean, once you know better, you do better. It's why I made this video. When you know better, you do better. I'm just rapping from my thespians. And, um, yeah, it's just ignorance. And, some people can't help but to be ignorant. And there's people who are full of fear. Fear is a big thing. They fear, and there was one thing with, a black James Bond, a lot of people got scared about that. And it's like, why? Does it even matter? I don't care how many times they change James Bonds. People are so scared, so frightened of change. I don't care how many times they change James Bond. The original James Bond is going to be a white, straight male anyways. So they can have all these different versions, but it's still going to go back to the original one. They changed James Bond's male characters, straight male characters anyways. So it's always going to be the same, and that's just not how it's going to be. It's not going to be just black people taking over the thing. Like, honey, are you that scared? Like, oh my God. People would be scared. Like, oh my God, was it trauma? Are you going through something? Cause they act like it's the end of the world. I mean, movies. I mean, don't movies should movies and art should not be taken seriously. So don't ever it's irrational to do that. Activism, yes, because I do see activism, and a lot of black activists hate white people, and so activism definitely is an issue. Um, but movies, no. It's just a movie, and we just want I want a lot of people to be successful. We need to broaden the thing because I want more and more people to be successful. I'm strong enough to say that. I want more. I want trans men. I want furries. I want all kinds of people. Everyone should be, if you have talent, honey, if you have mad talent, go for it. So, all right. Peace, guys.